Welcome in, everyone, to Media Day at the 2024 ITA Division I Men's Team Indoor Championships. We are joined now by the head coach of the Harvard men's tennis team. It's my dear friend, Coach Andrew Rueb. Coach, first of all, congratulations to you and the guys on reaching this weekend. What does it mean to your group to be back here?
Well, to be back here, it's the first time in a while, so it means a lot. I think it shows that the kind of work we're putting in is coming to fruition. Obviously it helps we were able to host this year and have a good seed, and so the success last year, we're trying to build on that and keep the program moving forward. So it's obviously a good sign when you're here with the best 16 teams in the country, and we're fired up and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you being a host site, you knew you were going to host the kickoff weekend, thus be favored to advance here. But I'm not sure if you scheduled knowing that as well. And what I mean by that is looking at what you guys have done through the first 6 weeks, you have challenged your team as much as can be challenged. Was that intentional? And I'm curious what you've learned from them through the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think one, we realize now how important it is to play your high-level non-conference schedule, and so we load up. And I think one of the reasons that people want to come is that you're going to be challenged by the best teams in the country. I think the Ivy Leagues has really improved. I think this is certainly coming forward, but you do need those matchups to play other teams in the top 20, top 10 in the country in order to get your ranking up. I mean, I think the ranking algorithm rewards good wins. Mm-hmm. And so we want to take our shot, and then you also learn. I mean, you play the top teams, you get the feedback, you get to see what the level looks like, and those are invaluable. So I think you got to sort of, the only way is through. You got to play against the top.
I will say, if you and Columbia are here, who's winning the ECAC this weekend? That's the question.
Oh no, I'm not jumping in on that. But there are. I mean, we've had 3 and 4 Ivy League teams make the NCAA tournament pretty regularly now. I think we're going to get a shot to see 5 teams make the tournament. We one year had more teams than the Big Ten make the NCAA tournament. So I think the Ivy League is in really strong hands, and certainly us playing Columbia here as 8 and 9 seeds is just sort of proof of that. And the depth is there too. So it's something we're excited about, and I think before we used to have 1 or 2 teams at the top, and now we've got much more depth.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The fact that you have a Michael Zhang, who was round of 16 last year, All-Americans, Cooper, obviously his strength, and yet you could argue the best player in the Ivy Leagues, Radu Popway, over at Cornell. It just speaks to the depth, the strength everywhere. But obviously, we want to talk about your team specifically, and again, you guys have been tested a bunch already this year. I want to start at top. It's always an experience to have a freshman at the number 1 singles position. You had some options, though. You could have played Henry, could have played Ronan, could have played David. What was it about Cooper specifically that had you thinking he was ready for that position, and how do you think he's fared so far?
Oh, geez, he's done fantastic, and he's sort of earned it. I think that the lineups is something you sort of earn through your matches and your results. I'm from Missouri, as they say. I'm the show me state. No, but you've got to. He had great results this fall. He obviously got a very high ranking. He did beat Michael Zhang and Radu at the Super Regionals to qualify for fall nats, and so those are shows that he's ready and he's got the level, and he's a wonderful competitor, and he's sort of that sense he's sort of older than his years are. It's worked out great, and he's sort of grabbed the opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah, and look, I want to ask you about 5 and 6, the options you have there, because I know you have a bunch, but that nucleus of your lineup, dare I say, the meat in the Harvard singles lineup sandwich: Ronan, David, Henry. To have certainty in that group, again, 3 guys you've gone to war with now for a couple of years. Talk to me about the leadership role they seem to have embraced this season, because I know just hanging out with your team, it was very clear who people are revolving around whom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that having experience up at the top is huge, and it is hard to cut your teeth. I mean, Cooper really is an exception of what it takes as a freshman to make your mark, but to have Henry, as a senior, he's older, he had a COVID year, so and then I have Danny Malofsky, who's been playing 3, and he hasn't lost a match yet. He's actually grown so much as a competitor from his first year, and he's just gaining experience every day, and he's got a big serve, big forehand, and so he's I think teammates count on him to keep producing, and Ronan, who again, a veteran senior, he was a semifinalist at Kalamazoo. He's got game, he's got experience, and that helps. Right? You want to draw on that, and then for it to be good, you also have to have some younger kids step up. Melchior has been doing a wonderful job at 5, and really big serves, big forehands, and he's got quite a game. I think that's gonna do well in college tennis.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And again, not only he, but we've seen Masato play at the number 6 spot. I've seen you work in a couple of different options. Heading into this weekend, it's a big one. I know 3 or 4 top 16 matches guaranteed. Do you feel like your lineup is set, or are you still experimenting a little, both singles and doubles this weekend?
I mean, I think that the lineups will over time just keep moving. I mean, if you want to be responsive, their levels aren't always set. People take a step forward, they take a step back, and so some of that is there's a progression there. So it won't be set for the as we go through the year, certainly. And I think there has to be some wiggle room, and you also have to according to the rules, you sort of follow where the results are. And that should lead you for how you put your lineup together. But I think there'll always be chances for people to get opportunities, and can you grab them and make the most of it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And speaking of an opportunity, last 2 questions for you. Of all the teams you could have drawn, it's a team you know well. Yeah. Obviously, in Columbia, 8 versus 9. It's the Friday night match here at the Milstein Tennis Center. Obviously, this is not the bubble. This is a little bit different. But I'm curious, that Harvard matchup, what you're looking forward to most about it.
Well, I mean, I think it's always exciting. The Harvard-Columbia is really sort of, I think because teams have done so well, that's really sort of earned this. I know Howie does a great job and builds really competitive teams, and they're well coached. They've got great level, and so you're always sort of testing yourself. And I just like almost all of our matches, it's going to come down to a couple points. The margins are very slim, and so every once in a while you get that one, and then the other, you lose a couple of the big points and you don't. I mean, we were talking earlier, but the margins in college tennis against good teams is very small. If you don't have a good day, you lose, so, this is a great opportunity to be here in a beautiful new facility and get a chance to, play against some rivals, I guess. Virginia's playing Duke, and so we don't follow the women's seeding rules where, you would sort of avoid some matchups with, oh, geez, that's me. Oh, that's for the coach's call.
That's funny. Well, we can leave it in. Westhoff will edit around it, but. Yeah, no, I again, just to finish that thread, obviously it's a massive opportunity here for your team. And so my final question to you is, beyond even just Friday, what does a winning weekend in your mind look like for Harvard? Beyond even just a national title, what do you want to see from the guys this weekend?
We talk always, we try to just take the distractions out and just lock in on what's their game, how are they playing more points in their patterns than their opponents. And if you're trying to do that and you're succeeding in that, usually you're doing pretty well. We know we're competitive with everybody, and we get a chance to sort of show it out here. So I think expectations are high that we want to compete and show what we got, and just keep advancing the ball. I mean, the goal still is you're doing your best in May, and I think the programs that focus on development and building those skills are the ones that keep improving. And I'm ready for it, and we're excited to see the action here.
No, absolutely. Well, speaking of excited, I do want to point out for all of you tuning in at home, we had one coach participate in a challenge you're all going to see released on the ITA social media moving forward. Let me just say you are our best participant, coach, a player, otherwise, Coach Rueb. It was a blast to see you, and we appreciate you participating with us so willingly. We also always appreciate the chance to chat with you, to watch the Crimson compete. So, Coach, good luck this weekend, and always appreciate the chance to chat.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, excited to be here. Glad that you're here, too.